I pimped my sim rig in 5 easy steps, and you can definitely do the same if you want to get to sim racing heaven. This is actually the sim rig that I use day in and day out, and I also produce pretty much all the content you see on this channel here as well. It's an incredible sim rig. It's a super cheap sim rig as well. It's from GT Mega, and this video is sponsored by GT Mega, but this is actually the rig that I've used for a year, day in, day out. So I'm going to run through the 5 steps and also explain how you can get a 5% discount as well. So 5 things that are super cool about this rig and the modifications I've done to it. So I've done a different pedal tray on this rig. You can see here, this is the new Prime, I think Prime pedal plate from GT Mega, and you can see how much I've been able to angle the pedals. The pedals are like in a proper GT position. I want to get you a really good view here so you can see at home kind of how I race on my rig. So the angle of the pedal tray coming out and then the angle of the faceplates for me is the absolute sweet spot when it comes to racing. Now, if you have the pedal tray too flat, then the angle of the pedal, you can try and do some adjustability. The Moser CRPs also have good adjustability, but you're never going to get them in this position. So if you can get a pedal tray that's elevated, absolutely great. I'm going to be trying another pedal plate as well to try and see if I can get them in more of a formula position, but I love that. Now, the other thing that's related to pedals is a second tip. I've used many different ways of getting my monitor on the rig. So I've used a GT Mega integrated, I've used an integrated, it might be a track racer actually, integrated monitor mount, and basically it adds a lot of bulk here and you can't really access the pedals easily. So what I've done here, as you can see, is I've mounted the monitor to the wall. Now you can do this, you can mount it to your desk or anything nearby. Here I've mounted it to the wall, and that means this monitor completely swings out the way when I want to access the pedals. And you can see even now, I have so much access to the pedals. If I want to adjust anything, if I want to change the pedals, I can do it super quickly, super easy, I don't need to worry about it. And if I move that monitor out the way, I've got even more access. Now the next thing, the third top tip is almost free. And these are these orange things you see here. You might be wondering what these orange things are. These are arguably the most important upgrade I've made to this rig when it comes to quality of life, because these are carpet sliders. And in conjunction with something else I'm going to show you, these mean that I can just move, I can basically move this rig around with just one finger. It's insane. It glides like butter. It's like it's a hoverboard on the carpet. And that means, again, I can move the rig here to get greater access to these pedals. Now I'm going to show you what I do in conjunction with it, which is this mysterious box here. But I just want to let you know this video is sponsored by GT Mega, and you can get an extra 5% off everything at gtmega.com if you use my code Kireth5. So go and have a browse. This one in particular is the Prime Lite. It's actually the cheapest extrusion rig GT Mega do. They also have the Prime as well. I'll explain the differences later, but thanks GT Mega for sponsoring this video and giving everyone the discount. So this here is my USB hub. And this is so critical to this rig because there's one cable from this hub that goes to my PC, and everything else connected to this hub actually stays on the rig. So my headphone tray here is on the rig, and I've actually mounted it, which I'll explain how I've done that. My mixer here is mounted to the rig. My Elgato prompter, not Elgato prompter, Elgato Stream Deck thing there is mounted to the rig. The pedals USB, and they're mounted to the rig. And that means when I disconnect one cable from that USB-C hub that goes to the PC, this rig can basically move independently. So I can move this rig around. So having your devices that are on the rig stay on the rig and cable them into a hub and have one cable from your hub to the PC is great. Obviously, yes, sometimes working with a hub doesn't work so great, but I have a mixer here which is really sensitive in the hub. You can see it's picking up my microphone and the wheelbase and the pedals and the headphones, and they all work. I haven't had any issues with them. So absolutely great, really recommend that. Now the fifth and final thing I've actually got quite a few things. I don't know which one to pick up, but I think I'm going to say this one. If you want to modify your rig, if I take you down the back here, you can see I've actually got hooks that I've bolted onto the rig. So this headphone tray is actually Velcro to a hook, to a physical hook, metal hook that's in. And the same with the hub as well, it's on the hook. And that's because, if you didn't know, these aluminium extrusion rigs come with these T-nuts here, or you can buy these T-nuts. I bought these ones separately, and you can attach stuff. This is probably M8, these ones, with M8, M6 bolts, and anything you can normally wall mount, you can actually attach to your rig. So it's a massive hack. I've actually attached here before a whole keyboard mount thing that was meant to be wall mounted, and I just attached it to my rig here. So you can get super creative. You can attach stuff that swings out. You can do all sorts of stuff. You can see here I've just modded a little bit of extrusion on the side, and my microphone sits on it, which is great. This microphone actually detaches in the quick release there, and then I attach it over there, and that's great. I can do the same thing with the camera as well. So if you get an aluminium extrusion rig, you can do all these modifications. And to be honest, what I would say is, I've used this rig for a year, and this, like I said, this is the entry-level GT Mega aluminium extrusion rig. I would say get to an end game level rig soon, and everything else you can upgrade. The Moser R16 is relatively new. The Fanatec pedals are actually 4 years old. I've been using them for 4 years. There's another video coming on that. But everything else you can sort of upgrade in your system, even the monitor you've got integrated. But the rig itself is the base, it's the chassis. So I would, if you can do, I would go to aluminium extrusion first. Obviously I've used stuff like a Playseat Challenge and all the other things. I've also used the Prime. In fact, I have the Prime, which is a higher, more expensive version of the Prime Lite. But for me, I don't feel like I'm missing anything with the Prime Lite. I think with the Prime, you see here, there's 2 sort of slotted extrusion. I think the Prime has 3, but I really don't feel like I lose any stability here. This rig is absolutely rock solid, which is what you want. And once you've got that rig, you can adjust everything. Even the seat here, you see the seat? Unfortunately, I've ripped a little bit here, getting in and out, or maybe I've been careless. Remember, I'm going into this rig a lot more than just you would do normally because I'm editing and doing all sorts of stuff. But I can change the seat pretty quickly because the rig has the mounts ready, and to change the seat would be super simple. Maybe I'll try a bucket seat or something like that soon. So again, you can just upgrade the actual consumable parts on the rig. You don't need to sort of redo your rig every time. But I wouldn't be able to do this on the Playseat Challenge. On the Playseat, if I started bodding stuff together, it's going to be really painful to change it. So the rig here is the basis of everything, and that's 5, I think, super cool ways you can pimp or modify your rig. And I really want to hear from you the ways that you've modified your rigs as well. So there'll be a link to the Discord in the description of this video. 4,000 sim racing on our Discord. I want to see you post your pictures in the sim racing sim rig channel there, and what kind of crazy modifications you've done. It's going to be so cool for everyone to see. This is my rig here. This is my cool space where I like to hang out. Really cool to share it with you. Remember, you get a 5% discount at gtmega.com if you use my discount code Kireth5. Thank you so much, GT Mega, for sponsoring this. This is the Prime Lite, and I'll see you in the next video.